Get it. Skip. Zero. What you do, YouTube? It's your boy, Leroy's boy. My voice kind of hoarse, man. I had a horrible morning, but we gonna get it right though. You know what I'm saying? I would check through these videos as soon as I got on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Number one YouTube reaction channel that you gonna find. You feel me? But yeah, we're gonna get that praise to God first. Amen. But look, hmm, it's a sad case that we got here, and what we reacting to. Yes, it is a sad case. I'm gonna just let it know. I don't want to speak on it because I like to react while it's going. And I didn't really. I read the title and went through the video a little bit, but I didn't really watch it. But hopefully, it's a good one. I'm gonna react to this, and I want y'all to start sending me videos to react to. I don't want to keep picking on myself. But yeah, it's your boy on More Like Combos. Leave vote. Boy. Hold on, y'all. Man, what happened out there? Like fireworks?
The screen glows with excitement as 39-year-old Latasha Tasha Hyman points her
It
phone camera
definitely ain't
toward the
glowing.
bustling street scene outside. Laughter fills the audio. Fireworks boom in the distance. Children run
I
past
think
carrying
this happened on
sparklers.
July 4th, y'all.
It's July 4th, 2024, and Tasha is sharing this moment of pure American celebration with her Facebook followers from Castleman Street in
38
Fort
was it?
Worth, Texas.
Been on so
Y'all,
long looking.
this block party is going off, she says into the camera, her voice full of joy. The video captures families gathering, neighbors firing up grills, and the infectious energy of Independence Day.
What would you say to men who think therapy is a sign of weakness?
When you have a proven plan,
Tasha has no way of knowing that she's creating the most haunting piece of evidence in what will become one of Fort Worth's most devastating mass shooting cases. In just
Are
minutes,
they in
this
Fort
live
Worth,
stream
Texas?
will become a digital gravestone. The sounds of celebration that Tasha is broadcasting to the world will transform into something far more sinister. The booming fireworks that provide the soundtrack to her video will soon be joined by, and then completely overwhelmed by, the rapid crack of gunfire from multiple weapons. But let's pause here for a moment, because what makes this case so absolutely devastating isn't just the violence that's about to unfold. It's who Tasha Hyman was and how completely random her death would be. This wasn't a woman involved
Rest
in
in
any
peace.
kind of dangerous lifestyle. Tasha was a successful makeup artist and business owner. She ran Slay by
You
Shay,
gonna bring it
a
back?
beauty business that had transformed the confidence of over 1,000 clients. She was celebrating the holiday at her fiance's family home, about as safe and wholesome an environment as you could imagine. Yet within minutes of posting that live stream, Tasha would step outside that family home and walk directly into a crossfire that would end her life instantly.
Damn.
What happened on Castleman Street that night wasn't targeted. It wasn't personal. It was chaos in its purest, most destructive form. And that's what makes this case so terrible.
That's crazy. That's why you gotta be careful where you at. Anything can happen anywhere. That's why I was saying people always try to pick and choose the places that they go to. And yeah, I believe you can pick wisely, but there's no telling what might happen when you choose wisely. The craziest thing can happen when you think that you want to make a good move.
Terrifying for anyone who's ever attended a community event, a block party, or any large gathering. The investigation that would follow would uncover evidence so extensive and complex that it would leave even experienced homicide detectives stunned. Over 100 shell casings and live rounds scattered across 4 city
I
blocks.
did.
Evidence of multiple shooters using different types
Oh,
of
you saying his
weapons.
mom?
A crime scene so massive that it took hours just to map out where all the gunfire had originated. But here's what makes this case even more disturbing. The arrest of 21-year-old Todorick Rogers 2 weeks
Or
later
about to
would only
react
answer
to
part of the puzzle, because investigators remain convinced that multiple shooters were responsible for the mayhem that night.
it. Yeah, 100 shooters,
Rogers had no
100
connection to
shell cases,
Tasha
all that stuff.
whatsoever. He didn't know her, had never met her. She wasn't targeted. She was simply in the wrong place when violence erupted around her. This means that on July 4th, 2020,
And she was 38 years old, so she probably was like, I ain't even gonna say, like, people always say the wrong crowd, or like, I don't know how to put it, but it's like, it don't matter where you at. Like, I didn't see the craziest stuff happen when I'm going around in a scene where I think it's not gonna be like that. I'm getting away from the old scene, trying to go to a new scene, and at the whole time, something tragic happens at the new scene. And the whole scene, the place that you didn't want to go to, ain't nothing happening. But that's why I say you can't really choose. I think you gotta step with faith in God.
24, at least 2 or more people made the conscious decision to open fire into a crowd of hundreds of families, children, and neighbors. They didn't care who they hit.
They
They
didn't get
didn't
the
care about the
shooters.
16-year-old girl who had to grab her 3-year-old brother and run for their lives.
No,
They didn't
that's
care
why I
about
say
the
anywhere you
39-year-old
go, it
makeup
don't even.
artist who was sharing
Oh, she
joy
did
with her
makeup.
social media followers.
Sorry.
As we examine this case together, we're going to explore not just what happened that night, but why it happened. How does a community celebration turn into a war zone? How does someone like Tasha Hyman, a woman described by everyone who knew her as pure light and positivity, end up caught in crossfire that had nothing to do with her? We'll walk through that live stream and the events that followed. We'll examine the investigation that's still ongoing, and we'll look at how Tasha's family has channeled their devastating loss into calls for
I'll tell you, she
change
only look
that can
38 though.
prevent future tragedies. But first, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been at a community event that made you feel unsafe? Have you noticed how normalized violence has become in
But yeah, but that's why I learned how to be how I am now. Like, yes. Huh? Okay. Wait. But yeah, I actually been places. Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, I actually been places where it I felt uncomfortable. But usually back in the day, I leave. Like when it hold on. That's my bad. My little boy came in the room. But yeah, I done been places where I feel uncomfortable, but I try to leave early. But now I walk a step with God, so it's like I don't really be caring what go down because I've been always believing whatever's gonna happen is going. We don't have no control of it. So yes, I don't think that you're supposed to put yourself in crazy situations on purpose because if you got a way to prevent something, then yes. But it's like there ain't nothing way to predict something that, like you going into something and you don't even think it's supposed to be no problem. But there is. I've been in plenty of situations like that and things happen. I didn't been thought things weren't gonna happen, but happen. You know, it is trouble. It's dark spirits out here that no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
some neighborhoods? Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if this is your first time on
You're
True
right
Crime
though.
Case Tapes, hit that subscribe button because we tell the stories that need to be heard. The stories of victims like Tasha who deserve justice and remembrance. To understand the true tragedy of what happened on Castleman Street, you need to know who Latasha Tasha Hyman really was. This wasn't just another victim of urban violence. This was a woman who who had built her entire life around making other people feel beautiful, confident, and loved. At
Ma,
39 years
you could
old,
tell me in the
Tasha
chat
had
that
achieved something remarkable in the
did they catch the
competitive
people that
world of
got it?
beauty services. Her business,
Did they
Slay by
catch the people
Shay,
that did
wasn't
it?
just a catchy name, it was a promise she delivered to every single client who walked through her doors. Over the course of her career, she had worked with more than 1,000 women, transforming not just their appearance but their entire sense of self-worth. She didn't just
Oh,
do
she did
makeup,
line makeup.
one of her longtime clients would
That's
later
all
say.
right.
Tasha had this gift where she could look at you and see exactly what would make you feel like your best self. She'd talk to you while she worked, ask about your life, your dreams. By the time she was done, you felt like you could conquer the world. This wasn't accidental. Tasha approached her work with an almost therapeutic mindset. She understood that for many women, getting their makeup done wasn't about vanity. It was about transformation. Whether it was a bride on her wedding day, a woman going through a divorce, or someone who had simply lost confidence in themselves, Tasha treated each appointment as an opportunity to restore someone's spirit. Her Instagram was filled with
See, this person had a good so. Oh, you don't think so? That's crazy.
before and after photos, but what stood out wasn't just the technical
Cause they
skill of
said it
her
was
work.
more than
It was the
2
joy
shoots, though.
radiating from her clients' faces.
Probably hard.
The captions told stories of women who had found their confidence again, who felt beautiful for the first time in years, who had learned to see themselves the way Tasha saw
I'm
them.
gonna try to catch the
But perhaps
live, y'all.
she just listened to
Imagine being able to build
Try to
anything
catch the live,
just by
man.
thinking about it. Meet
I'm gonna
Base
sit there and watch
44,
these people
a
whole
complete
video.
AI creation
into something resembling a street festival. Between 200 and 300 people had gathered, spilling out from front yards onto the street itself. Families had set up chairs on sidewalks. Grills were smoking in every direction. Children ran between groups of adults, their laughter mixing with music blasting from car stereos and portable speakers. But even in those early
So why they
hours,
not
signs
showing
of
the
trouble
live
were
though? They
emerging.
showing other stuff.
What had started as a
But
family-friendly
they ain't got no
gathering was
real footage.
slowly morphing
See, I don't like when y'all people post of it. I mean, he doing an excellent job at telling this story and showing, but all we see is her. I was trying to see the scene. I thought she was on live. I'm sorry.
into something more chaotic and unpredictable. The first red flag came with the fireworks. These weren't the controlled displays you'd see at official celebrations. People were setting off illegal
Yeah,
explosives with no
she
regard
look
for
like she do
safety or
celebrities
property.
makeup.
Some were being aimed directly at neighboring houses,
Cause I these
sending
people with the
sparks and
talent, man.
debris into windows and onto roofs. Homeowners who weren't part of the party started closing their curtains and moving their cars away from the street. Then came the cars. Young men began using the intersection as their
Yeah, I
personal
seen it. I
racetrack,
seen it.
performing donuts and burnouts while crowds cheered them on. The screeching of tires and revving engines added another layer of noise to an already loud environment. The smoke from spinning tires mixed with the haze from fireworks, creating an almost fog-like atmosphere in the street. Fort Worth police were aware of the gathering. They had
Oh,
stationed
why y'all
officers
not
in the
there?
area, anticipating that a crowd this size might need monitoring. But the sheer number of people and the rapid pace at which things were escalating made it nearly impossible to maintain control. Inside Tommy's parents' house, Tasha was largely insulated from the growing chaos outside. She was enjoying time with his family, helping in the kitchen, and periodically stepping onto the front porch to watch the festivities. This was when she decided to go live on Facebook, wanting to share the energy and excitement with her followers. The live stream she posted captured the dual nature of what was happening. On one hand, you could see families genuinely enjoying themselves, children playing, and neighbors talking and laughing. But if you listen closely to the audio, you could also hear the aggressive revving of car engines, the sharp crack of illegal fireworks, and an underlying tension in some of the voices. What Tasha couldn't see, and what wouldn't become clear until later, was that tensions were building between different groups in the crowd. Witnesses would later describe seeing arguments breaking out, people being pushed, and a general sense that the celebration was teetering on the edge of something dangerous. The transformation from celebration to catastrophe happened in seconds. At approximately 11:45 p.m., multiple gunshots rang out across the intersection. But here's what made the situation so confusing and deadly. The sounds were almost indistinguishable from the fireworks that had been exploding all evening. 16-year-old Lizbeth, who lived just doors down from Tommy's family, was outside when the shooting started. At first, I thought it was just more fireworks, she would later tell reporters. Everyone was already used to loud booms and pops. It took a few seconds before people realized what was actually happening. When the realization hit, panic erupted instantly. Hundreds of people began running in every direction. Parents grabbed children and sprinted toward houses, cars,
That's crazy.
anywhere that might provide cover.
But I don't like how he's not really showing too much. But yeah, we can wrap that up. But yeah, that's crazy. And rest in peace to her, because like she was like, first of all, she got an innocent. She's an innocent bystander. I hate when I see that. That's just crazy. But yeah, rest in peace to her. She had talent. She did makeup, and she looked like she was a successful person. You know, like it's just a tragic moment. But yeah, I'll be back in a few with another reaction video. If y'all got them, man, send them in, man. D Rose, boy.